Greg, if you would, opening remarks, and then we'll take some questions.
Oh, well, just really frustrated and disappointed. Thought that was a game that we had won a couple times, should have won. UMKC just made a few more plays. Obviously, Harrison was a handful for us, even though our game plan was to try to get it out of his hands as much as possible. We didn't do a good enough job of that, making somebody else beat us. But we're a team that is trying to learn how to win. I thought we played hard enough tonight to get wins, but I thought the Harrison, obviously, offensive rebounds at 2 different points in the game, and then we're asking guys that were good players for us on a good team last year to make winning plays and winning times, and we're just not quite coming up with them. And then we have a bunch of other guys that have to understand the importance of possessions down the stretch at both ends of the ball. And again, they're working hard and they're trying and they want to do right, but there's one of 2 ways we can go. You know, we can worry about these losses and our record and listen to the naysayers and the people that are complaining, or we can continue to get better. Win, lose, or draw. This is a good group of guys to be around. They're continuing to work harder. I thought we've gotten better over break so far, and we're going to need to continue and hopefully learn how to win some of these close games.
Questions?
Greg, do you think the accumulation of some of the losses that you've had to this point are kind of starting to pile up a little bit in the guys' minds? You know, when it comes down to crunch time, is that sitting in their minds a little bit, do you think?
I think that's more in the minds of our fans and stuff, you know, the losing, them not wanting to lose and us not making the plays that we need to make to win. That's when they get frustrated and some coaches get frustrated more. The guys were trying to make plays there at the end. You know, we're not trying to miss layups. We're not trying to miss free throws. And we're not trying to let them get offensive rebounds. So I don't think that is. I just think we need to get what we were talking about, the IUP game, you know, going into overtime, how we just dominated the overtime there. And we didn't do that. Now, they have a tremendous guard with the ball in his hands a lot and making the plays for him. And we just didn't have guys stepping up and doing that for us. But I thought we had it won a couple times, and they made the plays to overcome that.
Is it hard right now because although Brenton did a pretty good job kind of stepping up and kind of being a guy who could take a tough shot or something like that, some of the other guys are trying to take tough shots, but they're not going. I mean, is that how much is that, do you think?
Well, I know
there's no Martez Harrison on the floor for you right now.
That's true. You know, and where we've struggled a little bit, Trey's a good player and Brenton's a good player, but our decision making down the stretch with those guys is not as good as it needs to be. Brenton had a turnover there late, and Trey, with big possessions, whether tied or us up close, he's got to understand what we're doing and what we're running to get a shot. You know, because they were switching defenses, and those guys just aren't there yet. You know, they don't understand. Here's the shot we are going to get. I'm going to get this guy's shot or that guy's shot and make the right play. But again, they haven't played a lot of Division I basketball games. We got to keep getting them better because they are good basketball players. We just got to try to get them to understand what we need to do to get a good shot at those times.
Coach, are you looking to step up and make those plays for you at the end?
All of them, any of them. You know, we tried to get Christian a couple looks there, which we did. Justin right there at the rim, you know, doing those guys. Those that you want Devontae because you trust him. He had one bad turnover against the press right there, but other than that, he did a good job with it. And then offensively, he can create, or you get Christian or Justin to be able to make a play. And they didn't. They're 4 for 17, and it's tough when those guys aren't making it. But they made good moves. Justin was right at the rim. Christian got a great shot at the end of regulation, and those are 2 guys that are as disappointed as anybody because they want to have, they want to take those shots in tough times. Hopefully they'll start making them.
12 games into the season, obviously conference play starts Wednesday. You know, how much pressure is there to, you know, you're in a learning curve, but also, I mean, it's getting late, not late in the season, but it's moving along. I mean, how much pressure is there for these guys to start to really get perform better than they have been?
That's why you come here, and that's why you play in the Missouri Valley. You know, you're playing really good teams. We got a couple of ranked teams in our league. You want to earn pressure. You want to earn the right to have some pressure, and we don't have that right now. Our guys, we don't have any pressure on us at all. Our pressure needs to be within, to right this thing, to get this thing going and headed in the right direction. The guys want to. Again, I thought we've had a couple good days of practice, a couple two-a-days, and they're getting better. But we are a team that needs to learn how to win, and I gotta help them with it. You know, I understand that as well. It's a fine line winning and losing when you're playing good teams and it's close games.
Harrison was, the game plan for the first 30 minutes of the game, I think he was at 6 or 8 points or something like that. And a lot of those shots he hit were contested, pretty well defended shots, just when you got a player who's doing that in any game, but in particular where your team is at trying to get over the top and get a win, how demoralizing were some of those threes that he hit?
It is demoralizing, but that's what happens when you have a player like that is really good, that you can trust, and has a purpose with what he's doing, and he had 8 assists in the game too, so it's not like he was forcing up a bunch of crap, but he made big plays. I've seen him for 2 years now. He's a dynamic guard. He uses the ball screen as good as anybody. He gets to the rim as good as anybody and gets fouled. So he was making plays, and we just weren't. And we did a great, like you said, we did a great job on him for 25, 28 minutes, I thought. But then when it comes to winning time, he carried his team over he was the difference in the game. He's carried his team over. And you get to the line 12 times, that's doing something. And that's what our guys have to realize. Maybe you're not making shots. You got to get yourself to the free throw line and go up there and knock those down.
Disappointed were you in the rebounding today? UMKC had been getting out-rebounded on average, and they were, for a while, they were really in control of the boards. How disappointing was that part of the game?
Smith, it's the one thing he can do for him. The one thing he can do for him, and he had 7 offensive rebounds. There's 7 more offensive possessions for you, and you get beaten overtime. So they don't get one of those, you win the game. It's really disappointing. I mean, I can feel the air going out of the Holman Center. I can feel the air going out of our team. But it's like we have 5 guys watching, waiting for somebody else to go get it, when you got to go get it. Our interior guys have to rebound better than what they're doing. Our guards are leading us in rebounding. You have to, not only do you have to secure your man with a block out, you have to go pursue the ball and go get it. And there were a lot of long rebounds with their threes and those things, and it's a backbreaker. That's probably 15 of them. That's a huge difference in the game with all those extra possessions.
Have any players come to you and said, "I want to be that guy"? I mean, has that happened? Have any whether they're guys who've been around or guys that haven't? I mean, is that
Be what guy?
Be the guy to turn to and kind of be I want to be the option. Has that happened from the player standpoint?
I firmly believe that Devontae, Christian, and Justin do. I know Brenton does. And Brenton has got the courage to intestinal fortitude to do that. But he needs to be able to defer to those other guys too. I know they all want to. They've been waiting for this time to where they're the guys you look to at the end of the games to make plays, or throughout the game to make plays. So I don't think they're shying away from that at all. We just got to do a better job with it.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.